The first light of dawn pierced through the rough-hewn window slit, casting long shadows across the stone floor. It fell upon the face of a seasoned warrior, Arik no stranger to the call of duty. His eyes, though weary, held a spark of determination. He rose from his straw pallet, muscles protesting the countless battles etched onto his being. Each scar told a story, each ache a reminder of his journey. Today he was a warrior, not just by title but by the very essence of his soul. The weight of his responsibilities pressed down on him, yet he stood tall. Arik ran a calloused hand over his short-cropped hair, a wry smile touching his lips. Memories of past victories and losses flickered in his mind. He moved with practiced ease, strapping on his leather greaves, the scent of well-worn leather filling his nostrils. Each piece of armor was like an old friend, familiar and comforting. With a final glance at his reflection in the polished metal of his shield, Arik stepped out into the dawning day. He was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, ready to defend his people, ready to be the warrior he was destined to be. The training yard was alive with activity. Young recruits swung wooden swords with more enthusiasm than skill. Seasoned veterans sparred with the effortless grace born of countless hours of sweat and blood. Arik watched them all, his sharp eyes missing nothing. He moved through the ranks, correcting stances, demonstrating footwork, his voice commanding respect. He stressed the importance of patience, of focus, of becoming one with the bow and arrow. The training was relentless, unforgiving, but essential, for in the heat of battle it was often the mind that determined the victor. The midday sun beat down on the dusty plains as Arik and his company marched. They had been on the move for days, scouting the movements of a rival warlord. The land was their constant companion, its moods as changeable as their fortunes. Camaraderie was the lifeblood of the company, a bond forged in shared hardship. As the sun began its slow descent, Arik called a halt. They made camp with practiced efficiency, their movements honed by years of experience. As they ate, Arik studied the maps, his brow furrowed in concentration. Night fell, cloaking the world in an eerie silence. The forest, usually alive with the sounds of nocturnal creatures, was now a realm of shadows and whispers. The moon cast a pale glow, creating an otherworldly atmosphere that seemed to hold its breath. Arik sat alone by the dying embers of the fire, his face illuminated by the flickering flames. The warmth of the fire was a stark contrast to the coldness he felt inside. Each flicker of the flame seemed to echo the turmoil within his heart. He was a warrior, but also a man, burdened by responsibilities, haunted by faces of those he had killed and failed to save. The weight of his actions pressed heavily on his shoulders, a constant reminder of the cost of his choices. He thought of his family, of the life he had left behind. Memories of laughter and love, now distant echoes, filled his mind. The locket he carried was a small token of a world that seemed so far away. He had been just a boy when he first felt the call to arms, yearning for adventure. The dreams of glory and honor had driven him to pick up the sword, to join the ranks of those who protected the realm. He had found it, but at a cost. The battlefield was a harsh teacher, and the lessons it imparted were etched into his very soul. The faces of fallen comrades and the desolate landscapes were scars that would never fade. He looked up at the stars, their distant light a reminder of the vastness of the universe. Each star was a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest times there was light to be found. And yet he was here now, in this moment, with a duty to fulfill. The path he had chosen was not an easy one, but it was his. Every step he took was a testament to his resolve, to the promise he had made to protect those who could not protect themselves. He was a shield against the darkness, a protector of the innocent, a warrior. His heart, though scarred and weary, beat with the strength of 1,000 battles. He was Arik, and his story was far from over. The first rays of dawn painted the eastern sky with hues of pink and orange, casting a serene glow over the battlefield. The calm before the storm, a moment of peace before the chaos of war. Arik rose, his body stiff and sore, but his spirit undimmed. Each muscle ached from the previous day's skirmishes, yet his resolve was as strong as ever. He knew what lay ahead and embraced it with unwavering determination. Today, they would face the enemy. The air was thick with anticipation, every warrior preparing for the inevitable clash. Armor clinked and swords were sharpened, each sound a reminder of the duty they bore. He looked at his men, their faces grim but determined, and felt a surge of pride. These were not just soldiers, they were brothers in arms, each one ready to lay down their life for the cause. They were warriors all, bound by duty, by honor, by something greater than themselves. The bond they shared was forged in the fires of countless battles, unbreakable and eternal. He drew his sword, the steel glinting in the morning light. It was a symbol of their struggle, a beacon of hope and defiance against the darkness that threatened to engulf them. "Today we fight!" he roared, his voice echoing across the silent plains. It was a call to arms, a rallying cry that ignited the fire within each warrior's heart. And with a roar that shook the very heavens, they charged into battle. The ground trembled beneath their feet, and the air was filled with the sound of their war cries, a symphony of courage and defiance.